Imagine you are standing in a crowded airport, looking at your phone as the screen flashes red. You have only 1% left and the panic starts rising. You are now a desperate scavenger, hunting for the most precious resource on Earth, a wall socket. We had become a civilization of wall huggers, tethered to the power grid. How did we learn to trap the raw, terrifying power of a lightning bolt inside a small metal cylinder? It all began long before any modern electric company existed. Our story starts in 1936 near Baghdad, where workers discovered a strange clay jar. Inside was a copper cylinder and an iron rod, looking like an ancient battery. Did ancient civilizations use electricity to gold-plate their jewelry? Archaeologists still argue about this, but the desire to store power has been with us for many thousands years. For centuries, electricity was just a party trick. People rubbed amber or glass to create small sparks that vanished in a flash, leaving everyone confused but very entertained. Then came the 1780s and a scientist named Luigi Galvani. He was busy dissecting a frog when something impossible happened that changed the course of human history forever. Galvani's metal scalpel touched a brass hook holding the frog's leg, and suddenly the dead leg kicked. He believed he'd discovered a mysterious force called animal electricity. But his rival, Alessandro Volta, was not convinced by the idea of magical frogs. He suspected the electricity came from the two different metals reacting with the salt. To prove Galvani wrong, Volta built a stack of copper and zinc discs. He separated them with cardboard soaked in salt water, creating the world's first real battery pile. It was messy and leaked, but it worked. For the first time, humanity had a continuous flow of electricity instead of just a single spark that disappeared instantly. Throughout the 1800s, inventors tried to make the battery less dangerous. John Frederick Daniel gave us the Daniel cell, which kept the early telegraph lines humming with power. Then came the dry cell, the ancestor of your modern AA battery. This meant you didn't have to worry about liquid acids spilling all over your expensive Victorian trousers. But these early batteries were one-and-done deals. Once the chemical reaction finished, the battery was trash. The world needed a way to bring the power back into the cell. In 1859, Gaston Planté invented the lead-acid battery. It was incredibly heavy and filled with toxic lead, but it was brilliant because it could finally be recharged many times. This invention fueled the first major wave of electric cars in the early 1900s. Believe it or not, electric cars were actually winning until cheap gasoline took over everything. Gasoline made us forget about electric power for decades, but the dream of a portable world never died. We just needed a metal that was light and very energetic. Enter lithium, the diva of elements. It is the lightest metal on Earth and can hold massive amounts of energy, but it is also very prone to catching fire. During the 1970s oil crisis, scientists like John Goodenough worked to tame this wild element. They wanted to create a battery that could power the future of electronics. They finally succeeded in creating the lithium-ion battery. This is the single reason why you can watch this video on a thin glass slab instead of a steam engine. Today, batteries are everywhere. They are in our pockets, our cars, and even inside our bodies, keeping hearts beating at a steady pace through tiny, reliable electric pulses. We are moving from burning dirty carbon to storing clean electrons. Massive battery farms are now stabilizing the entire power grid, saving energy from the sun and wind. But we are still chasing the holy grail of energy, the perfect battery. We want it to be solid state, charge in seconds, and last for 100 years. Until then, we are slaves to the charging cable. Have you ever noticed how people in cafes are always looking for that one table with a working power outlet? Our mood is now directly linked to that little green bar at the top of the screen. If it turns red, our day is officially ruined and over. We carry portable power banks like modern talismans, terrified of being disconnected from the digital world for even a few minutes. The battery has become our mechanical heart. Think about it. A dead frog's leg in an 18th century lab started a revolution that put the entire knowledge of human history right into the palm of your hand. Without Volta's salty cardboard, there would be no smartphones, no laptops, and definitely no electric cars. We would still be living in a world of steam and smoke. It is the unsung hero of our time, quietly working in the background to keep our world moving, lighting up our lives one single electron at a time. So next time you see that low battery warning, don't get angry. Instead, take a second to remember the long journey from a clay jar to your pocket. We are still learning how to bottle lightning, and the future looks brighter than ever as we find new ways to store the power of the entire sun. Every kick of a frog's leg and every leak in Volta's pile brought us closer to the world we live in today. It was a beautiful, messy accident. Our dependence on batteries is the price we pay for our freedom to move, to speak, and to connect with anyone, anywhere on this big blue planet. So charge your devices, keep your power banks ready, and never forget the science that keeps your modern life from turning back into a dark, silent night.